The Winter Garden is the second in the series of Clara Vine novels set in Nazi Germany. It opens in October 1937, which was an interesting month because it was the month that the recently abdicated Edward VIII came to Germany with his bride Wallis Simpson, much to the displeasure of the British government. And there were various Nazi sympathisers like the Mitford sisters in town. It was an interesting time. The Germans were involved in the Spanish Civil War, and the Nazi regime was feeling powerful and, to an extent, on top of the world. Clara Vine is still in Berlin. She's an actress at the UFA studios in Babelsberg. At the end of Black Roses, she had been trying to decide whether to marry Leo Quinn, her lover, or whether to go back to England, or whether to stay in Berlin. She's made that difficult decision and she stayed in Berlin to carry on her secret work. It's a really interesting time for women at the moment in espionage fiction. We've had on television, we've had Homeland with Carrie Matheson, we've had Zero Dark 30 in the cinema, and in fiction we've had Ian McEwan's Sweet Tooth and William Boyd's Restless. And I really felt when I started writing Clara Vine that the place of the female spy had been pretty much overlooked. Although it is true that the British in World War II were the last really to get to grips with the idea of women in espionage. The French were way ahead, the Germans too, and of course Mata Hari was Dutch, although she was World War One. But the British were more reserved about getting women involved, and it wasn't really till SOE got underway that the British really thought about putting women in the field. I think we're still really interested in the appeasers, the part of British aristocracy that sided with the Nazi regime right up until the outbreak of war almost. Partly because we're British, so we're interested in our aristocracy. It's a kind of Downton thing, I suppose. But also because it's almost the sliding doors school of history. Things could have gone so differently. Clara um, lives on into book three, which is called A War of Flowers, and her next enterprise will involve Eva Braun, who is another figure I was always very interested in, but that will be set in 1938.